Hey, hey, you guys. Great morning. Great morning. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Great morning. I'm excited for today's word. Excited for today's word. Excited for what God is doing. While you guys are coming in, I'm going to go ahead and share. Great morning, April. How are you, gorgeous? Let me go in and share, share, share. You all, when you come in, let me know who's here and go ahead and share, please. Let me know who's here and go ahead and share. Mm, come on in, come on in. Today is Friday, y'all. It's Friday. Another amazing day that God has graced us with. Y'all hold on one second. I had to shift my connection. Okay. All right. Yeah, get them on here, April. Get them on here because they're gonna want to hear this. They're gonna want to hear this. Y'all bear with me. I'm having some challenges, but y'all just bear with me. I promise you, if you bear with me, it's going to be worth it. But I am gonna need you to bear with me. Okay. I broke my light. It's not acting right, but my baby, Mr. MacGyver, fixed it. But it's some stuff that's off with it. So, just, kind of bear with me. I'm not in my usual spot. We are actually out of town for a family emergency. So y'all just bear with me as we are navigating it. Okay. Um, my God. Listen, good morning, Stacy. How are you, gorgeous? This morning, as I was preparing for the drive-by, hey Donnell, um, I heard God say proceed. Listen, many times we have found ourselves in places where we don't know whether to proceed or go forward or to stop, to wait, to turn around and go back. But this morning I heard the Spirit of the Lord say proceed. Some of you are in places where you're trying to determine if you're going to go forward or not. God said proceed. I'm not sure what that looks like for you. I'm not sure what that is for you, but God said proceed. And maybe something in your heart, something that you desire to do, something that you're thinking about doing. God said proceed. Don't allow what you have done in the past, been committed to in the past, obligated to in the past, prevent you from proceeding. When God is getting ready to shift you, it means that you may have to leave some things that are comfortable, leave some things that are familiar, leave some things that you have done and in order to go forward. Now, what I know about us as people is we're creatures of habit. We get in the habit of doing certain things, or doing things a certain way, or things being a certain way, and we struggle when it's time for us to proceed, right? But God says it's time to proceed. Look, you cannot, listen, you cannot stay where you've been. You can't. You've got to proceed. And this is not even a proceed with caution. You know how sometimes you see the signs that say proceed with caution. No, no, no. This is not a proceed with caution. This is a proceed, like go forth, like go forward, like move. This is what this proceed is. God is telling you that it is time for you to proceed. You've been stuck and stagnant for too long. Worried about everybody else. Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm getting ready to talk to parents, grandparents. I'm getting ready to talk to husbands and wives. I'm getting ready to talk to y'all, and I need y'all to hear what God is saying in this season. Sometimes, listen, sometimes we do things to help. To help, right? So I'm going to give you an example. I like using me because I'm the only one that I can control, and I'm the only one that can't be mad at me. Okay. So I'm going to use me as an example. I can remember times in my life where I was helping other people, right? And helping other people put me in a financial fiscal bind. Okay. Now I'm helping, but I'm not getting help. And I found myself in a fiscal bind. And so when I got ready to move, I had to make some decisions. And the decision that I made was, y'all can't go with me because y'all not helping me. So if I've given you an opportunity to benefit from my assistance and you didn't help me when you could have helped me, I'm not taking you into my new. I can't do that. See, what we'll do is we'll cripple people. Did I say cripple? I said cripple. We'll cripple people, and we will stop ourselves from being able to walk into what God has for us. It's so easy as parents to just want to help our children. We just want to help our children. We want to make sure that our children have the help that they need. But if we are doing things for them that doesn't require them to be accountable, that doesn't require them to be responsible, that doesn't require them to be an active participant in their liberation, we are not helping them, we're hindering them. And the problem is we're hindering people thinking we're helping. You got your H mixed up. You thought that H was help. No, it's hinder. It's hinder because you don't allow them the opportunity to figure things out on their own. I have some amazing children. My children are amazing. They're brilliant. But listen, can I just be real with you? Sometimes that work ethic don't always be on point. Well, I'll say wasn't always on point because mama, they knew mama had them at the end of the day. Mama got us. Mama got us to a certain degree. Like we not gonna be outside. Mama not gonna let us be outside. We're gonna have a place to stay, right? We're gonna have some food to eat. She ain't gonna let us starve, right? So I'm thinking I'm helping, but really what I did was I hindered. I wanted them to pursue their passion so much that I gave them space to pursue their passion. But even in the space to pursue their passion, they weren't pursuing their passion the way they needed to. It's very familiar. So I'm going to take you all the way back to husband number one. When I got married the first time, he was younger than me. I had just graduated and he had just graduated. I just graduated college. He had just graduated high school. Don't judge me. Anyway, so he was looking at college, and okay. You want to get your education? Great. Like, what do we need to do? What do I need to do to support you? So he got a scholarship, a basketball scholarship, because he played basketball. He got a basketball scholarship, and we moved to the little town where the school was. It was a community college. We moved to the little town where the school was, close to the school actually. Found a place. I commuted for over an hour every day to teach and to take my classes and then come back. Okay. So I wanted to make sure that he had the opportunity to do what he wanted to do. But this is what happened. What happened was he wasn't going to class like he needed to. He wasn't doing his work like he needed to, and he wasn't showing up on the basketball court like he needed to. So now I've not become wife, I've become mother. Because listen, let me tell you something. What we're not going to do is I done made all these adjustments and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Okay. But this was the problem. He said he wanted it, but he didn't necessarily want it enough to do what was required. Now, I'm not the person that you can give a bunch of excuses to, because everything I've done against the odds and not because of the odds. Everything I've done, every achievement has been against the odds. You know, I'm that statistic that defies raised by my grandparents, raised by my grandparents, um, in a 3-room house with no indoor plumbing. A first generation college graduate, the first one in my family on both sides to go to college. I was the first one. So I did it in spite of and not because of. The first one to pledge a sorority. Skiwi. um the first, right? I've been a lot of firsts, but I've had a different kind of drive. I have a different kind of drive than a lot of people in my family. Like, I'm very driven for success. I'm driven to accomplish. I'm driven to achieve. Like, that's how I'm wired. Not everyone is wired like me, right? Well, what I didn't realize is health. The drive is rooted in something that's not healthy. It's not coming from the right place. It becomes problematic because, listen, what happens is you become what's known in the world of saboteurs as a hyperachiever. I was a hyperachiever. My identity was in my achievements. If I wasn't achieving, like, I didn't feel good about myself. So my identity, my value, my worth was attached to my achievements. So when I was achieving, I felt great. But what does that mean? After every achievement, then I'm like, okay, now what? Because it's got to be something else. I got to be achieving something else. When you understand that about yourself, and you can address that and you can adjust that, you can begin to kill that saboteur. It means that your life is not going to be achievement based for a while, which is challenging. So I went through a year and a half, almost 2 years of my life not being achievement based. God wouldn't let me go get it. And I'm like this. But for him, he wasn't a bad person. He just didn't have a lot of drive like that. Not that, right? Not in that area. Truth of the matter is, I don't even think he really liked school. So he was just doing school to play ball, but then he wasn't doing what he needed to do on the court. I don't know. But nonetheless, I called myself helping, but I wasn't necessarily helping. Okay. Just like with the kids, I wanted to give them the space. I'm big on pursuing dreams. Yes, Catherine, my soror. Hey, Corey. Good morning. Good morning. Hey. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Darnell. So listen, because I really want y'all to get this. Because when you proceed this time, it's going to be rooted differently, right? So, in our desire, I'm going to say in my desire to give people the space to pursue their dreams, I think that I have made it too easy. And so they didn't go get it. Let me tell y'all about me. I'm just going to talk about me for a minute. All I need is an opportunity, just a crack in the door, and I'm going to kick it in. Just a crack. You ain't got to open the door all the way for me. Just give me a crack, and I'm going to kick it in. Because I'm going to make it happen. Rarely have I been in relationships where that existed on both sides. Um, A guy I dated in graduate school, he was like that, right? Like we were both like, go get it. We both beat the odds. He grew up in the worst projects in Atlanta. Um, so our drive was a little different. Like we'd seen some different stuff. And y'all, I'm not from the hood. I'm from the country. But when you've been in a place where you didn't have, you understand that not only does nobody owe you anything, but that you got to go get it. Like you, it's not going to be handed to you. So I approach things a little differently. Tim gets that. Tim gets that. He makes it happen. He's gonna do what he needs to do to make. He's gonna figure it out. When my light was broken, I said, "Babe, my light is broken. Can you fix that for me?" I call him my personal MacGyver because he gonna fix it. These are his three staples, right? Thumbtack, some tape, and some glue. If he got any of those things, he can fix it. I'm telling you, he'll fix it. Y'all remember how on MacGyver would chew the gum? He'd be chewing gum, take the gum out, take the wrapper, create a connection, and then like make something work. That's him. He's my MacGyver, my MacGyver. So when you are wired to figure it out and to make it work, you have a tendency to make it work not just for you, but for those around you. Problem. They never figure out how to make it work for themselves. They never learn that for themselves. They never get that. They don't get that. And because they don't get that, um, they look to you to figure it out for them. Problem. You figuring it out for them often may mean that you figured it out for them, but you've gotten yourself locked in a situation that doesn't allow you to proceed. See, the truth of the matter is sometimes we want people to need us more than they need to. We want people to need us. It fulfills something in our lives to be needed by someone, to be in a position where we're the one that solves the problem. In the world of saboteurs, that's often called the pleaser. The pleaser seeks to fill needs or to make people feel good or to solve problems in order to maintain relationship and connection, to keep people from not liking, not liking you, not loving you, not accepting you. So if you have pleaser as one of your saboteurs, you're going to go above and beyond. You're going to do stuff that other people look at and be like, oh, that's crazy. I wouldn't do that. But you do it. And listen, there's nothing wrong with the gift of helps. There's a such thing as the gift of helps. I'm going to do a whole thing on the connection between saboteurs and our spiritual gifts, because I believe that sometimes our saboteurs are rooted in a spiritual gift twisted. So it becomes twisted, not rooted in the right thing. So it's rooted in a desire for love, liking, and acceptance. That's what it's rooted in. A desire not to disrupt relationships, not to destroy relationships. So we don't have difficult conversations. We don't say what we really feel, because if we say it, we're afraid that people will disconnect from us. That's the pleaser saboteur. Listen, that's one of my saboteurs, one of my top three. I've had to, I've had to work on that. I've had to kill that. So now I'm in a place where if you like me, great. If you don't, great. I can't. I'm not getting ready to jump through anything I do has to be rooted in love. It's got to be rooted in love. It's got to just be rooted in, oh, I'm just doing. If I start to feel any inkling of resentment about something that I'm doing, if I start to feel any kind of way about something that I'm doing, if I feel that it's off balance, I'm stopping it. I'm stopping it. And I'm stopping it for me because I don't want to be stuck in that pattern. So you've got to understand that in this season of your life, God is calling you to discover what is at the root of what you're doing. What's at the root of it? And is what you're doing preventing you from moving forward into what God has for you? And if it is okay. And you have permission to revisit and to change your mind. I remember my girlfriend said, you know, you have a right to choose, right? You have a right to choose. I just want to make sure that you know that you have a right to choose. At any point, as you're going through this process, you have a right to choose differently. You have a right to choose something different. I love the concept of the right to choose, because sometimes we feel like we don't have a right to choose. But sometimes it's not other people who are taking away our right to choose, it's us. We take away our own right to choose because we feel like, oh, now I am obligated and committed to do this. I'm getting ready to help some people. You may or may not be one of the people that I help. You may or may not accept the help. But for those who won't help, I'm getting ready to help you. There are times when God will have us do things and we do them rooted in the right thing. But somewhere along the lines, things shift and things change, right? And when things change, we don't want to change because we don't want to seem wishy-washy, or we're accustomed to it. This is what we're used to. But you can't proceed to your next doing that. You can't get there. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. Now you can keep doing what you're doing, but you're not going to get to it's going to delay your next. It's going to delay your destiny. You have to decide how badly you want destiny. How badly do you want your destiny? How long are you willing to have your destiny delayed? How long will you be the reason that you don't get to where you say you want to be? Because you can say you want to be a place, you can say you want to do a thing, but the opportunity arises. Are you going to be in a position to do it? Are you going to be in a position to make the transitions that you need to make? Are you going to be in a position to move the way you need to move? You got to create space for what you want. If there's no space for what you want, why do you think it's going to show up? If there's no space for it. Y'all hold on a second. I feel like y'all's comments are stuck. So hold on one second. I'm going to refresh and then we're going to keep going. Hold on. Okay. So what are you going to do? Are you going to stay stuck where you are? Are you going to continue to do things that you've already fulfilled your assignment with, but you just holding on to? Are you going to continue to be in a place where you use, listen to this right here, situations and people as an excuse for you not to move forward? Or are you going to proceed? God is calling us to proceed. God is calling us to proceed, not proceed with caution, but to proceed. Don't be scared to proceed. And know this, when God says proceed, it's because he already sees the end from the beginning. He already knows the outcome of you proceeding. In when there is any kind of official thing, graduation, wedding, funeral, there's a thing called the processional. And the processional is when everyone who is a dignitary or family or occupies a certain role proceeds in, they come in. The thing about the processional is it's a high dignity event, and everyone else stands to watch you process it. So everyone is standing. And I know as a bride, when I was coming down the aisle last Saturday, I know I could see in my periphery the people standing, but my focus was on going forward. Sometimes we get stuck and we start to proceed in, and we get caught up in the fact that there are people over here and there are people over here and everyone's watching. and we watch those that watch, and we observe those who are observing, and we never make it to that place of honor that has been reserved for us. God says it's time for you to proceed, go forward, move. God will take care of everything else. I know you think it's not going to happen if you don't do it, but I promise you, people figure stuff out when they have to. I'm a living witness. I watched all of my children and adopted children figure out where they were going to be. I did not solve the problem for them. I was there to be a sounding board. I was there to give them some wisdom, but I let them figure it out. And do you know what that does? It empowers people to know that they can figure it out. It empowers people. Stop crippling the people you say you love. Stop crippling them and allow them to grow and to expand. I remember my son was with my grandson for the first year and a half of his life. He was his primary caregiver. He was there for everything. All he knew was da da, da da, da da, da da, da da, da da. That's all he knew. And um, when he reached the point where they were like, okay, well, we're gonna go on it. And y'all know what the big thing be when you have them babies, childcare. Because childcare is a house note. Okay, it's a house note. So don't have no babies if you ain't ready to pay no house note for childcare. So when he went back to work, everything shifted because suddenly he had gone from being the primary caregiver to now my grandson had to really spend time with his mom, and daycare is a whole new experience for him. And it's so funny because I'm watching him in this transition, and yeah, they pick up some not good stuff, but I'm also watching him learn how to navigate with other children. She really didn't. He was around a bunch of grown people, a bunch of basketball players, a bunch of athletes, of his mom, his dad. Like that was his existence. But I'm watching him learn those social skills that he struggled with because he just wasn't around children. And as he's going through this transition, as he's going through this change, I'm also watching his daddy going through a change, watching him deal with the fact that they're not together the way they were, deal with the fact that they're not spending all that time together. It's a huge transition. But I'm also watching him proceed with his dreams. You've got dreams that maybe you've put on pause, on hold, to occupy another role. But can I just tell you this? Your dreams and your destiny is waiting for you. He could have stayed home and done that, but he would not have felt fulfilled as a man and a husband, just being honest, or as the coach that he's supposed to be. Now I'm watching him step into that space and occupy it, continuing his education, getting amazing grades. And he wasn't even the scholar now. He's like, I don't like school like that. But as a man that has taken some time away and occupied the role of a caregiver, he is going after it with vigor, giving it his all. What is it that you know you're supposed to give your all to, but you're not because you're occupying another role? What is it that you won't even let yourself think about because it means that familial roles will have to change? When I made the decision to move to North Carolina to stay with my dad, My kids were not happy about that. Some of them more not happy than others. Um, I didn't keep my grandkids all the time, but I kept them, you know, I kept them, right? It was nothing for Maddie to be at school with me, um, in my office, when I was at my school, right? Um, Brooklyn started out in her first year. She'll see a lot of me and Brooklyn together on my lives. She would be with me and I would trade, you know. So when I made that decision, I knew that there would be some things that I would miss, some moments that I would miss, some ways that I would not be available any longer. And yet it was necessary for me. I needed it. See, what I knew was that what God was doing was healing me so that I could be a blessing to the generations. There were things that I wanted my kids to see and my grandchildren to see. I wanted them to see what a good, healthy marriage looks like. I wanted them to see what whole looks like, me being whole, me living my life, and loving me. Not because of the roles I occupied or the things that I achieved, but just because I exist, because I be. And the truth of the matter is, if I can just be honest, the roles I occupied took my attention away from and my focus away from dealing with the stuff in me that I had to deal with because I was doing and helping and being the answer for everyone around me. But when I needed an answer, who was there? It's one of the reasons I'm so grateful for the incredibly anointed men and women of God that God has placed in my life who have been there for me through some of my most trying times when I'm the one who wanted to quit. I'm the one who wanted to give up. I'm the one who wanted to stop. I'm the one who was depressed. I'm the one who was overwhelmed. I'm the one. It was me. I'm the one that didn't know which way I was going, what to do next. Me. He surrounded me with anointed men and women of God who had my back, who loved me. And because they loved me, like they were there for me in the good and the bad, the up and the down. I could call them and say, hey, listen, I'm on the verge of a break. I'm on the verge of a break. I can't do this anymore. And they would talk me through it. I would have therapeutic conversations with my sister, the lady apostle, Apostle Tammy Robinson. We would have these therapeutic conversations because, she's a licensed clinical social worker and therapist. So, that's what she does. But we would have conversations that just would help me to understand why I was feeling what I was feeling and what I was going through and that it was normal. But when you're the one that's always strong, when you're the one that always is the solution, when you're the one that is always the warrior, when you're the one that is the one that always finds the solutions for everybody else, who's there for you when you need someone? I had people surrounding me who occupied those roles that helped me through those tough periods so that I could go to my daddy and get whole, so that I could go to my aunt and be reminded of how amazing Sunday dinners can be, so that I could go to my son and spend time just being big mama and helping them, supporting them where they needed it, so that I could go to younger kids and spend time being big mama, being mama, encouraging them to continue to pursue their passions, go to my other son and be big mama to my grandsons, and allow them to get to know me and experience me. But each step of the way, I had to proceed. I couldn't just stop and be stagnant. As much as I love my daddy, I just would have loved to just be up under my daddy. I couldn't stay there because there was more that God was doing. What are you preventing God from doing in your life because you're staying somewhere when it's time for you to proceed? When you're still occupying a space, but it's time for you to proceed. Don't miss this move, because I promise you, it's going to make sense and it's going to be worth it. Sometimes our failure to proceed is because we have to response. You can't do that. You think you are. Oh no, you got to do that, because if you don't do that, people are going to be mad at you. See, that's why one of my favorite phrases is, people are going to be mad at me. People just going to be mad at me. I don't care if people are mad at me. Like, I really am beyond people being mad at me. You got to be willing to let people be mad at you. People going to be mad at me. I don't care. Don't mean I don't love you, but you can be mad, because if it comes down to me proceeding in what God has called me to do, and me making it like, if it's comfortable, oh, they come, oh, they take advantage of you. hmm They think you're supposed to do stuff, enablement that people have. I'll be like, oh, that's crazy. No, I don't have to do anything. I need you to understand, anything I do, I'm doing out of the goodness of my heart. Now, I used to say that, but what I realized was I wasn't doing it out of the goodness of my heart. I was doing it a lot of times because I wanted to be liked, loved, and accepted. So that's the truth. Oh, this must be the part the devil don't want y'all to hear. So we convince ourselves that we're doing what we're doing out of the goodness of our heart and to help other people. And if we don't do it, nobody will do it. Well, guess what? They'll figure it out and somebody will do it. I literally watched. She was upset. I just left them to go stay with these people that I didn't know. She felt a way about it. She felt like I was betraying my daddy that raised me by building a relationship with my biological father. She had all these, you just left us, you just left your kids and your grandkids. How could you do that? She went through all of that. But guess what? Everybody survived and everybody figured it out and everybody's fine. In fact, everybody's better off because now they've learned how to solve things without mama. They can call mama, but mama's not there to step in and fix it. And so their ability to solve problems is much better. I've watched my I'm watching my grandbabies be great. I love it. I'm allowing my kids to be the parents that they have to be because they're kids, right? And I'm watching um their growth and expansion. Get out of God's way. You in God's way. You say you're helping, but you're really in God's way. I realized I was in God's way in my kids' lives, in my grandkids' lives. I was in God's way. There were things that God was trying to do that I was in the way of Him doing it because I became God. I became the solution. I became the answer. They didn't have to go to God because guess what? They called mama. Well, now they know how to go to God for themselves. They recognize God on their own and on their own terms. They have their own relationships because I finally got out of the way. Get out of the way. You're in the way. And not just the way of anyone, you're in the way of God. So proceed with your life and your purpose and your destiny. Proceed all the way to the place of honor that God has already established for you. Proceed, because I promise you what's waiting for you is greater than where you are right now. As I walked down the aisle Saturday, and I saw my husband standing down there waiting for me. It made it easier for me to proceed, sewed up in my dress, pinned in my train, to not get distracted by what was on the right or on the left, who was there, who wasn't, not get distracted by cameras, but to stay focused on the place of honor that God has established for me and the promise that He had given me. You see, when I left Tampa believing God that what happened Saturday would happen for me, that I would marry a man that loved me, who when I was walking, that we would be an example of what love looks like. Whole, healthy love. And when I look at the pictures and when I look at the videos, I'm like, I love him. I knew I loved him, but like I see it. When people, oh, I can tell you love him. I was like, whatever. Like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, it's the way you look at him. I don't know what y'all talking about. Yes, I love him, but like what? Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in the videos. I saw it in the pictures. You could just see love oozing from both of us. So proceed. What's waiting for you will make all the hell that you've gone through worth it. But you'll never get there if you don't proceed. I pray that this word blessed you. I pray that you got something that you needed. I pray that you heard something that encouraged you. I pray that you were able to stick through the technical difficulties and challenges to hear what thus saith the Lord. Because sometimes the challenges and the distractions come to keep you from being focused. Focus on what God is doing, because I'm telling you, you ain't seen nothing yet. Get ready for God's new release. It's coming soon to a theater near you, and you get to be the star. Listen, you guys, I love you guys, and I pray that you will love you enough to do what God is calling you to do. Proceed, and you don't even have to proceed with caution. Listen, if the word blessed you and you want to be a blessing to me, to the ministry, you can go to Cash App $DRV Walters, Cash App $DRV Walters, or PayPal.me/DRV Walters. This is the year of manifesting miracles. So if you want to sow your manifesting miracle seed, you can do that at Cash App $DRV Walters or PayPal.me/DRV Walters. Remember, whatever seed you sow, put an assignment on that seed. Tell what the seed is for. What do you need the seed to do in your life? Put that on there. Put that on in the memo, the forward, the whatever. Let that be known. Give your seed an assignment so that it can produce. Look, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah.